Okay, it says that we are live. So welcome everybody. This is Wendy Cherry of the Sanctuary Radio Show. Welcome. And I'm doing my technical stuff now. So just give me a second to get all my life together here. I want to share this with my other page too. So give me a second. And my guests will probably be doing the same thing. So give us a second to share and then we will get right to it. Thank you everybody for joining us. We're excited to have you on. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so now let me hope that I don't like have some feedback or something crazy. Okay, so welcome everybody. It's Wendy with the Sanctuary Radio Show. We are here and I am here with my soror, Jamila White, and we are going to talk about intuition, stepping into our powers and our gifts. And she's even going to bless a few people with some mini readings, which is going to be super exciting. So if you have any questions that you would like answered, I suggest posting them down. I am trying to manage all these things at the same time and see what I can see in the chat and all that. So if you want to be considered, please put your name down and then we will go from there. So welcome, Jamila. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, Wendy.
Yes, and I've been wanting to have you for a long time, and then I ended my show. Like I ended my show in the studio, and Spirit was just like one day, if you don't start doing that again, if you don't, get back on, you can do it from your house, just do it. So I started what I'm calling summer school. So it's the Sanctuary Radio Show for those of you who are new here. And the Sanctuary Radio Show is just all about inspiring and empowering and educating, Black women to tap into their most authentic and healthy selves, but then having that ripple effect to the whole Black family. Because I believe when you heal a woman, you heal a whole family and you heal generations. So again, welcome.
Hi.
And so Jamila, please tell us who you are and what you like to do.
Well, I'm Jamila White. I am a psychic, medium, life coach. I'm a Reiki master teacher and also a transformational retreat host and facilitator. And I use my gifts to help people go from feeling off balance and fearful of the future and stuck in a rut to experiencing the clarity and the joy and the peace of mind and the freedom to live their lives and run their businesses with unconditional joy and unconditional purpose. And I think most people that end up coming to me for some reason usually are stuck in some way, and they're trying to get out of their own way. And that's my specialty, is helping people uncover their own inherent gifts and use them.
Go ahead, sorry. Me messing with my technology, don't mind me.
Okay, that's okay.
Well, go ahead.
I'm delighted to be here though, delighted. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, Soror, Jamila, thank you so much. So I have lots of people here, lots of sorors in the house. I got my sisters in the house. I got sororities in the house. Got my brother-in-law in the house. Everybody's in the house. Okay, so welcome. First, I want to just share with you how I came to know Jamila. So 1997 for me, 1997, 98. When there was like online was new. I had a Rocket Mail account and I didn't even have Gmail yet, and so
Gmail didn't even exist yet.
It didn't. I think that came 2005. So in 97, 98, I was working in a nonprofit here in DC, and somebody told me to get online to what was called SOC.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what's this SOC?
So far back.
Yeah. So SOC is Shout Out Central.
Yep.
And so it was basically, and you can explain it better, but I want to just share that's how I came to know you. It was like an online, like we were just chit chatting, like a conversation text almost.
It was a Greek message
The
board. I
beginning,
used to have a website
the
called
beginning of it.
stepshow.com, and Shout Out Central was I can't even call it chat. It was basically a guest book script that we were leaving messages for each other on, but people were using it for real-time chat, and they blew up the server more than once. But back in those days, and I had it, my first business was selling Greek paraphernalia. And I mean, look at where we are now, how we've come full circle. I mean, who knew? If someone had told me back then, because that was my very first full-time business, was selling Greek paraphernalia, that I would be a professional psychic, I would have called them a bold-faced liar. That was not part of the plan. It was not, even up to the point where I was doing professional readings, it was still, I was kind of in the closet, and it was something I was just doing for fun on the side. I had another full-time business in marketing consulting at that point, and I didn't want to hear about being anybody's psychic. I mean, that wasn't what I wanted to do initially. I never saw myself doing this, but I'm here and I love it.
Wow. So so that's interesting. So the Shout Out Central, it was like Greeks online being like, what's up, y'all? Let's meet at the happy hour, Republic Gardens. What's good? Like whatever, right? So that was my first foray. So then living my life. I'm in my mid-30s, late 20s, early 30s. So fast forward to about 2005, 6, I started to just have like feelings of questioning my spiritual practices, questioning conditioning when I didn't realize it was conditioning at that point, and what I consider conditioning. So when I was young, so I have two things. When I was young, I had a dream that my grandfather was going to die. He died within probably a few weeks. Wow. And I knew it, and I was afraid. I did not tell anybody. I was spending the night over somebody's house when it came to me that he was going to die. So now I'm like white knuckling, biting my fingernails down, stomach ache every day. And then one day I'm sitting at the table with my, we had some children over to my mom, would feed all the kids, and we're sitting there and the phone rang. And my mom closed the door. And I knew it. I had never told anybody. I walk in the room, I look at her face, and I throw up all over the floor. So everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. And then I was thinking I'm crazy because I never wanted to tell anybody what I thought, because then they'd probably be like, she's lying. Or, my mom might not have said that, but other people might have been side-eyeing me. That's one. Fast forward to 2004, my aunt died in my arms. We were just taking her to Walmart. I'm putting her in the car. She looks up into the sky and yells no 3 times. I look up into the sky with her. I don't see nothing. And then she slumps in my car. I run to the other side to hold her. I'm shaking her. I'm like, Auntie, and she dies. Wow. Traumatized as hell, right? Sure. Traumatizing. So now, fast forward to 2010, 11, and I'm not sure when you started this, Jamila, but I go to Pathways. I don't know when you started going to Pathways, but the first time I ever
around that same time in the late of 2008, 9, 10 is when I started attending just as a regular person. Okay. And then in 2013 is when I started working at Pathways, doing readings.
So whatever year this was, my Soror Cheryl, who's on here, shout out to Cheryl, she invited me to go to Pathways with her. So now I'm walking around and I'm seeing all these people, it is like, so Pathways is like a
wonderful
convention where they sell crystals and oils and sage, and they do readings, and it's all about awakening and spirituality from a specific perspective. Hey, Marshall. So I see Jamila there with a booth, and I'm like, that's the Soror. It's a Soror who's in here talking about this stuff. Like, what's really good? Like, what's good? Like, I was like, so I'm like lurking at your booth, you know, because I had seen you on the yard at homecomings, you know, I do all that stuff. I hang out, I see you. I know that you were Alpha chapter of part of our sorority, which is Delta Sigma Theta. So I'm like, how is she a part of Delta Sigma Theta and she is in here in Pathways?
Right.
So that was sort of like how I started. And then I would come to some of, like you started doing sessions there. So I would come and I'll play the background because I was like, I don't think she really knows me. She might know my name, but she doesn't know me. And then I didn't get in the mix. I never would bother.
What's funny is I knew your name and I saw your face at Pathways, but I didn't put two and two together until more recently, actually.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I know I've seen you. Yes.
So that's kind of how I got to know Jamila. And then we connected and I always kept saying, I want to get her on the show. Hey, Tamara, my sister's on here, my cousins are on here, all types of people on here, and they got questions. So we will save the questions toward the end because I really want her to talk about Erica, Wanda, Nisi, Tracy, hey y'all. I really want her to talk about intuition and instinct. And Indira's here. Hey Indira. I met Indira with you at the dinner that time.
Yep.
So your bio says you're a psychic and a medium. Can you break down those two things?
Sure. I use psychic as a catch-all phrase. I'm not attached to any of these titles, but sometimes you have to put things on a business card and on a bio. Because what I do is older than the word psychic. Every culture, every religion, every faith community has someone who sees things, knows things. Sometimes it's a prophet or a prophetess. Like, I don't want to get caught up in the semantics of it. But what I do is I get information from spirit, from God and from your angels and your ancestors. That's where the mediumship piece comes in, because psychic means you get information, and mediumship is spirit communication. Sometimes I get messages from deceased loved ones, specific messages, sometimes with descriptions of who they are, sometimes with names, but more than often they're just so busy giving me the information that they don't always get specific about identifying. And each person walks with, we've heard the expression guardian angel. Each person walks with a whole posse of people. It looks like that Verizon commercial where you look, it's like, that's my network. You're all walking around with that all the time and have some of us know, some of us don't. They're not always saying, hey, because that might freak you out. But you have support from your ancestors, both the people that you knew who loved you and passed on, but also further than that, people who share family and bloodline and sometimes culture, and also angels who may not have been physically related to you, biologically related to you. They may not have ever been in bodies, but they're assigned to you or have chosen you, or however that works. I don't always know how that works, but I know that they're there and I see, feel, and hear from them. Where the mediumship part comes in.
Okay. And I think that's important because depending on what spiritual system you may come from, you may have been told that that's the devil. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it, but I know I was told that. But I have traveled a lot of places in the world, in Asia, in Africa, in South American and Latin American countries, and they all have some sort of ancestor veneration where they have pictures and they have like an altar and they have candles and different things to honor their ancestors. So let's think about it.
Don't call it that. Every hood has a t-shirt shop where you put the face of the deceased loved one on it and you wear that. So, we look at different cultures and different traditions and we say, oh, they're doing ancestor veneration. So are we. We have pictures of our ancestors in our family homes. We may not call it that. And, what I say about this is love never dies. Our bodies die, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Our bodies die, but the love that we experience between people, especially between family members, loved ones, spouses, children, that doesn't die. And for me, when they come through with proof of that they still love you and are still connected to you, that to me, that is the proof of God. that is the proof of life everlasting for me. And I'm never coming from a position of wanting to convince anyone of anything, which is why I have clients of all faiths and even atheists. I have pastors and ministers and preachers who are my clients, and Catholic, Baptist, Church of God in Christ, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, Buddha, across the board. All of the above and none of the above, because they know that I don't judge and I'm not here to proselytize anyone. I'm here to strengthen your faith walk in whatever tradition that you are in, Ifa, Akan, Vodun, whatever.
Right.
And so when people work with me, they understand that I'm not here to judge or to convince. I'm just here to deliver the message and help you on your journey, whatever that means for you. And so what I tell people is if you're concerned about the word psychic, depending on what city I'm in, I may not use that word. When I was living in South Carolina, I didn't use the word psychic because they hear that down there, they think it's a scam or you're doing roots on people and cast spells on people. And I just I help people. I get messages from spirit and I share it with you and I help you. If you want to call that psychic, you can. If you want to call me a prophetess, you can. I don't care what you call me. Just let me help you or not. And if you have a concern from a religious standpoint, what I tell people is you don't have to trust me, trust God. Ask God, ask Jesus, ask whoever it is that you pray to, whether you need a reading from anyone and whether I'm the right person for you. If you get a no from your God, your savior, your deity, your whomever, don't call me. I'll be okay. If you're not at peace with that, don't do it. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to come see me. And I let them know here's where you can find me if you want to come see me, if you're ready to come see me, and if you're ready to pay me, because I don't work for free.
Hey, okay.
Spiritual gifts are a livelihood. And I think a lot of us who have spiritual or creative gifts tend to undervalue that.
Yeah.
But it's just as much work, if not more work, than when I was selling Greek t-shirts, when I was doing corporate consulting. And I didn't, my time wasn't free then, and it's not now. Except for stuff like this, I love to give back. And I also do volunteer at different organizations and doing fundraising events for nonprofits and things like that. But all this to say, get clear with your own spirit. And if your spirit is not okay with talking to me or anyone else, then don't. It's as simple as that. But here's the other thing. One of my personal and professional goals is to get you all to the point where y'all don't need me. I want you to develop your own intuition, your own trust, and your ability to know what you need to know at the time you need to know it. A lot of times people think that being a psychic or getting a reading is about fortune telling and predicting all the future. And there's definitely some elements of here's what can happen if you continue in the energy that you're in right now. But a lot of people are surprised to learn that a lot of with working with me, because it's different for each person and each professional has a different specialty. But working with me often means we may be talking more about what has happened in the past and how it relates to what's happening now more than what we're talking about what's going on in the future, although we're going to talk about that too. We'll talk about, I may be shown something that happened in your life at age 6 that is relevant to why you're stuck in this job that you're in right now. Or something that happened at age 17 that has everything to do with the relationship status that you have right now, and making the connections between all of these seemingly random things that have happened in your life, but spirit is whispering in my ear, talk about this, talk about that, ask her about what that teacher said to her in the 6th grade, and putting all of these different pieces together, and it's for you to have an aha moment. A lot of times people are surprised at how much that comes through as validation of something they were already thinking or feeling about their own lives, but hearing it from a stranger who knows nothing about them makes it stand out crystal clear. But we all have intuition. We all have that power. That is our relationship with God, with spirit, with our higher selves, sharing information and insight with us at the time that we need to know it. It doesn't mean I can tell everything and I have access to every piece of information. Absolutely not. But I'm given certain information at certain times to benefit you, and also to help you realize that some of the time you already knew that, which was your intuition working for you.
So a few things I'd like to unpack
Sure.
I think it's important that you said that, either, so I have a question and then I'm going to say the question and why I think this is a good question. This is my cousin Erica. How do you tap into the guides that are around you? Now, for those people who don't even believe those things, or, I like that you said, we're not here to proselytize, like on the Sanctuary Radio Show. I say that straight up. Like, I'm not here to convert anybody. What I'm here to do is drop the seed and you can pick it up or don't.
Right.
So, it's just you tapping into your intuition, into your instinct. And then you're intelligent too. Like, it's the 3 eyes for me. It's just like, learning to trust that. And we have given our power over so much to other people on many fronts. So think about just being in lockdown and how you probably ain't know how to do your fingernails, ain't know how to do your own hair, didn't know how to we have lost contact with the technology of our own self. That's what I've been teaching to my groups. The most recent in the last year is that you are the technology. You are the co-creator of everything. And if you allow yourself to be guided, if you allow yourself to ask the ancestors for guidance or whoever it is, it will probably confirm, like you're saying, what you already knew, because your belly will tell you. And a lot of times our bellies tell us something. So an example, I had a reading 10 years ago, and the lady told me that I'm afraid to leave my job because I'm afraid I'm not going to be taken care of. I have fear. That joint was so real, but I didn't know how to say that. I didn't know how to verbalize that. I think instinctually I knew it, but once I realized what it was and I unpacked what I thought, I realized that I did have it, and then what could I do to change it? So I realized that if I believe that there's a creator and God, and if I believe in that if people are going to support me and the ancestors are there to support me and God and everybody's there to support me, then I don't have to have that fear. So that's how it worked for me.
Right.
That one reading 10 years ago when that lady told me that. And so now I do believe that it is something that you can do. But going back to Erica's question, how do you tap into that? Like, what are some of the tools that we can grow to learn how to tap into the intuition?
Great question. And I mean, first, I want to acknowledge that we all have intuition, and sometimes we think we don't. Yeah. But how many of us have had an experience where we thought about someone and then the phone rang or we got a text from that person? What is that? Yep. But intuition. So, I mean, it happened. Intuition isn't just for the really big things like major life decisions. It's for the little everyday things like finding a parking spot, right? Yep. Being led, allowing yourself to be led. And so because we all have it, it's like a muscle. It's always there. And we by not using it, we can allow the muscle to remain weak, or we can practice with it and let that muscle get stronger and stronger. The goal is to have our intuition so well integrated with ourselves and how we process information, and not just sit it on a shelf in a box, in a glass box, and break in case of emergency. Like, oh no, now my life is falling apart. Let me try to get some intuition. If you're already using it, then things can be a little more smooth. It doesn't mean you don't experience life's ups and downs, but you have tools to navigate and also to know that you're okay. The first thing you can do is start to acknowledge when your intuition is working. Okay. For example, how many times do we credit something else out there and say, oh, it was just random, but something told me to call you today? Or, I was walking down the street where I started thinking of you out of the blue, or suddenly I got an epiphany about how to solve this problem at work, and it was just out of the blue. Well, let's stop calling it random. Let's stop calling it out of the blue and start saying, my intuition told me, or my intuition kicked in. And so that grows our own awareness by acknowledging it of when our intuition is actually working. Okay. So it's not like this far away thing. It's right here with us all the time. So first of all, start acknowledging it. Secondly, practice with the little stuff. Practice like being guided to the perfect parking space. Mm-hmm. Practice with when you lose an item, can't find your keys or something like that. A little prayer that jumpstarts your intuition. God knows, God shows, and be led to the keys or control or whatever it is that you think you can't find. It starts with the little stuff.
Okay.
I also recommend keeping a journal and journaling first thing in the morning, just whatever comes off your head as you wake up, because you're still in this very connected, spiritually connected space before you start thinking about the whole world. And
Yeah.
just journal stuff. And even if you don't know what it means, because what people tend to do is they want to go straight into interpretation before even acknowledging and figuring out, how do I personally pick up information? Because the way Jamila picks up information may be very different than the way Wendy picks up information. There are different psychic senses, so to speak. We've all heard of clairvoyance. And when we think of a psychic person or someone using their intuition, we tend to see it as a very visual thing. They have a light bulb above their head, or they're having a vision, or they're seeing something, or even they're looking at tarot cards, crystals, whatever. Okay. We tend to make it very visual, but that's just one kind of intuition. You can hear things, you can hear sounds, you can hear information, you can hear tones in music. You can actually smell things. How many people have had the experience of smelling a deceased loved one's perfume and you know that they're not right there physically?
Wow.
It smells
Yeah.
like you hug them. I had some experiences like that, and I kept smelling an old lady's rosy perfume, and it took me forever to realize that's my grandmother's perfume. Why am I smelling that?
Yeah.
Been deceased for 10 years at that point. Many people are psychic feelers, clairsentient, meaning that we feel something in our bodies, like you mentioned, your stomach or the hairs on the back of your arm or the back of your neck stand up, or you just get a little throb or a tingle somewhere, or you can also feel the feelings or emotions or vibes of a person, place, or room situation, that you're clairsentient, meaning
Okay.
you're an empath and you pick up things. Or a lot of people fall in this category. I don't know how I know, I just know. I didn't hear it, I didn't smell it, I didn't taste it. Just one minute I didn't know. Now I know I need to call so and so. Or I know, I don't know why, but suddenly I know I need to leave this man alone. Don't know why, but I
Right.
need to leave him alone. But you know what? I could be wrong. Let me give him a chance. What if he's my soulmate? I don't want to miss out. And then we go fool around with this man and it blows up in your face. And it's like, you know what? I knew from jump I should have left him alone. Well, how did you know? Sometimes it's life experience, but sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's something ain't right here. And then we don't trust it and we poke around it until it blows up. But
Yep.
all you need to know is something ain't right. You don't need to know why. You don't
Yeah.
need to prove yourself right. When something's not right, get out. The thing about that is usually at some point later, you'll be shown exactly what it was. And you'll be like, woo, I dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Married and got a fiance and a girlfriend. What?
Right. Yeah. It's really interesting because it's a muscle that you have to train, just like at the gym, right? So I've
Exactly.
been, like exercising this muscle over the last few years, but I love that my daughter, she's in tune because I've been in tune for like maybe the last 10 years. So I've been helping her to be in tune in a different way than I ever was.
Yeah.
So over the weekend, she had a medical situation going on, but she said, Mommy, we called the doctor and they said, wait until Monday. She said, Mommy, I feel like I need to go now. I didn't question it. We went. She had emergency surgery in like the
Wow.
next hour.
Wow.
So I told her, I'm
Something
so
was off.
grateful that and I'm proud of you for just saying what you needed,
Yes.
saying what you felt. And, don't worry about what other people say, because a lot of times like I said, we give our power away and we wait for other people to validate our stuff.
Give us permission. Yes. How is your daughter doing?
She's doing well now. Thank you so much. Thank you. She's doing
I'm
well
glad
now, but it was
I'm
like,
glad
it came out of nowhere.
you validated that for her.
Mhm.
And you trusted her. And by giving her that example that it's okay to trust your own knowing,
Mhm.
even if a doctor with 15 different degrees says wait till Monday,
Right.
it's okay to trust your own knowing. And you validating that for her is going to save her so much drama, trauma, and stuff down the line.
Yeah.
I also have taught intuition classes and developing your own intuition.
Okay.
And one of the biggest obstacles isn't I got to learn how to get to my intuition. It's unlearning the conditioning that we received in our families, in our churches, in our schools about whether we can trust our own knowing.
Correct.
and that handing over our power, whether it's to an authority figure or
Yep.
to a person in relationship, because we don't want to displease them. So we will discount what we know inside of us and
Yep.
can often feel in our bones that this is not right for me, or this is right. I have to do this. I have to go this way. When I quit my job at the end of 1996 to start a business on the internet, when nobody knew what the internet was, and
Right.
told me Black people are not on this internet thing, it's nothing but porn and whatever else. And we got to remember, because right now the internet is so integrated in everything we do. In 1996, you could not even track a FedEx package online.
Yeah.
They didn't have e-commerce. Okay, so for me to quit my good corporate PR job and do this internet thing, people thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
But I just knew, I didn't know what I knew, but I just knew that I had to do it. This was both intuition and calling. It was, my intuition says something is, this internet thing is going to be big. I don't know how, but it's going to be something.
Okay.
And then the other part was the calling of starting a business and knowing that A, I think I'm supposed to do this, but B, as terrified as I am, because when I say terrified, I was terrified.
Yep.
As I am to step out here and do this crazy thing, I am actually even more scared of what will happen to my spirit if I don't do it, and my spirit just shrinks and withers and crumbles. I am more afraid of what that feels like, or more afraid of looking up and seeing somebody do exactly what I wanted to do while I'm still in this job that I hate. And that feeling of regret. I am more afraid of regret than I am of risk. That's me personally. I
Okay.
don't ever want to get to the end of my life and feel like there was things that I was meant to do that I didn't even try to do. There's nobody who feels like they should have spent more time at work at the end of their life.
No.
It's all they talk. What they talk about is the things that they wish they had done, the relationships they wish they had repaired, and the things, the chances that they wish they had taken, the traveling they wish they had done, the business they wish they had started. I don't want to live like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whether I have one more day or 100 more years, I don't want to live like that.
Okay. So let's talk about the energy of the time. Is 2020. People have been talking about is clear vision. It's the end of a cycle, right? Maybe you do or don't know all these things, but regardless, it's one of those things where it's a universal principle. So it's just happening whether you believe it or not. So I feel like it's good to harness that energy. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about the benefits of first identifying, acknowledging, and then tapping into the power and the gifts that we have in 2020 and beyond, so that we can be living our most fulfilled and happy and authentic, healthy lives.
Yeah, so we're in July 2020, which means congratulations, we made it through the first half.
Woo.
The intensity of this year. And one thing about this year that's different than others is because of all of the things that are happening all at once, with the pandemic, with the quarantine, with racial upheaval and justice, and this turning that's happening, it's making us, and especially as Black women, it's making us on an individual level get really, really clear about what it is that's important to me.
Yeah.
Whether it's important for me to have stability, or whether it's important for me to not feel trapped in a bad job or bad relationship or whatever. If it's this calling of, I really want to go back to school, or I really want to start this business, I really want to start this dream, or you know what, I really want to spend more time with my family, with my kids, with my husband, with my mother, with whomever. Mm-hmm. It's helping us get really, really clear, where before we could pretend that things were okay in areas where they weren't, some of us. And it was easy to be so busy that we didn't have to acknowledge certain things that were asking for our attention. And so with 2020, we have a unique opportunity, because of all that's happening in the world, to get really, really clear about what it is that we want. And when I say what we want, is not what we should want, not what we used to want, but what we actually want in our hearts. What is important in my heart? And I think most people in the last 6 months have experienced some kind of clarity, either clarity from the absence of it, or clarity because it's presenting itself. But it's giving, a lot of people are saying, you know what, me spending time at home, either get me out of here, or you know what, I really want to spend more time with my kids, and I don't think I ever want to go back to working in an office. So people are having these epiphanies about, this is what matters to me.
Right.
And many times are having an opportunity or creating an opportunity to act on it. And that's where the power of intuition comes in, because when everything feels uncertain, all you have to go on is spirit. When that's between you, God, you and your ancestors, you and whatever.
Right.
That's all you have to go on, because what we're seeing right now is nothing is guaranteed. Life is not guaranteed. Business is not guaranteed. That good job income is not guaranteed. The relationship is not guaranteed. Nothing, health is not guaranteed. So all you have to go on is what you came in here into this world with.
Right.
No clothes and God.
Right. Right. So I love that, because I feel like I was already on the path of this, but this quarantine and this being together or isolated or however you're experiencing it has really even pushed me to dig more and to trust more, trust what I'm doing, trust the path that I'm on. And I've been going out into nature. I never used to like nature, Jamila. It's funny. But once I realized that I am nature, and that going out into nature, I'm just going out into myself. I'm just being a part of what I am. It has really helped. So I've been going out since quarantine happened. I've been just going out. If I don't do nothing else, I go there. And I'm feeling like that's where my meditations are. Like a lot of people feel like you got to sit down and you got to own.
No, that's one kind of meditation. Sometimes you can have a nature meditation. You can have a walking meditation. You could be stirring a pot of soup or some gumbo or whatever, and that repetitive motion is a meditation. There's moving meditation. There's all kinds of different meditations. What a meditation does is it quiets your mind and it stills all the chatter. And so some people experience meditation while they're running. Their bodies are definitely in motion. They're sweating, they're whatever, but they're in this very clear mental space. So there's whatever works for you, works for you. There's no, there's no wrong way. There are many different paths to peace.
Yes. Many, many different paths to peace. So I see a lot of questions here, and I want to spend some time with, some of these questions. But first I want to talk about, and you said this to me right before we started, and I'd never heard of it and never considered this thought before of, when you're getting a reading, so now people who have never thought about it may be inclined. So you do readings, and we'll go into that more at the end of how people can connect with you. You're offering a discount, but what are the things that you look for in a reading? Because I have passed, like I grew up on the Jersey Shore, and there was always a little old lady with her ball, where it says psychic on her little storefront. I would be afraid to go into there. What do you look for?
Well, first, I want to say that just now what you just said, I felt afraid to go there. That may have nothing to do with you being afraid of psychics. You might have picked up as a child that I don't like this lady's energy.
Okay. All right.
So we honor that. But what I say to people is, first, ask yourself, why is it that I think I need a reading, or why do I want a reading? It might be curiosity. There might be an area that you're stuck in your life. There may be a loved one that you are grieving. And again, you don't need to go through a medium or someone like me to connect with a loved one. They're around you. Just start speaking to them. The challenge is we're not used to, we're looking for them to communicate like they're sitting right next to us and have a whole long verbal conversation, or we're looking for what I call the Morgan Freeman voice of God.
Right.
Wendy, this is your great great grandfather. It does not happen like that. 99.9% of the time, it comes in a quiet whisper. It comes on the advertisement on the side of the bus that just passed you when you were wondering how, wow, I miss my grandmother, and then this thing with pink roses passes by you on the bus, and that was your grandmother's favorite flower. Yeah. It's the little things like that they let you know that they're around. But as far as looking for a reading, first look for someone that you're actually comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. This is someone who is going to be connecting to and very intimate with the most deepest, most sacred, sometimes most secret parts of your lives. This is like hairdresser, bartender, priest, confessional intimacy.
Okay.
So you want to be with someone that you feel connected with, that you feel comfortable with, and maybe even someone that you've gotten from a referral through someone else that you know. I mean, it might be happenstance that you run into someone on a boardwalk or at an event or whatever, and you feel connected with them. But a lot of times it comes, person to person. And real talk, a whole lot more people go to psychics than who admit go to psychics.
Yep, they do. Yeah, I'm starting to realize that too. Once they don't feel like they'll be judged.
Yep.
Even me doing this show, when I sent it to certain people, I know they side-eyed me, but I figured whoever was gonna come can just come. Right. And you can open your mind to some really important information that potentially could help you or not.
Absolutely.
I'm just dropping the seed.
Yeah.
So you said people that you're comfortable with. Okay, so everybody understand that. But you said that some people are addicted to readings.
Yeah, so right before we went on the air, we talked about that a little bit. There is such a thing as a psychic addiction. Wow. People, and in this case, this is when people replace psychic advice or divination with their own good judgment and common sense. Yeah. Where they get to this place in life where they feel like they can't make any decision without consulting with a psychic or doing a reading for themselves, even for themselves. You don't always have to be paying someone in order to have a psychic addiction. And at this point, this is when, if you feel like you can't make any decisions for yourself, that's when you need to just back off. And quietly, I learned this when I worked in a psychic shop where we're at with 12 of the DC's best psychics. A lot of these psychics behind closed doors, when they weren't with clients, were getting readings from each other every day. Oh. Every day. And they were addicted to psychic readings themselves. Wow. So eye-opening. Wow. Sometimes you just have to trust also. So, because sometimes psychics aren't going to be able to give you the answer that you want. What I give people is what they need to hear, which may or may not be what they want to hear. And it may or may not be on the topic that they came to see me about. One lady came to see me about a job situation. She had been laid off and she wanted to know when she was going to get her next job. She was, frustrated and needed a little hope. And every time I connected with Spirit to ask Spirit about, what can you tell me to tell her about this job situation, got nothing. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm getting nothing. But I'm like, but you're about to be in a relationship though.
Hey,
stuff kept coming, and I knew she didn't care about that. She was trying to get a job. She was trying to pay some bills. She met her husband on a flight 2 weeks later. Wow. She met her husband on a flight 2 weeks later, and they came back together to visit me. I was working at that shop at the time, and I didn't know what had happened. And she was like, remember me? And I wanted to ask about the job. And you had a little bit of information about the job, but you kept talking about this man, and you're moving out west. She said, I met him on a flight. We just got married and I moved to Arizona, and I'm just having to be in the area visiting. So sometimes what you need to hear may not be the thing that you're worried about at that moment.
Right. And when I was sending out this, I posted it and then I sent it to special people, and one of my special people was like, I'm scared. I was like, well, come on and see, maybe get something. She was like, I'm afraid.
What happens when not be ready. Afraid? Often they think that they're going to get bad news, or they're afraid that the information that's coming is not coming from a high source. It's coming from a low vibration. And usually those are the two things that people are most afraid of. Or they're afraid to tell you that you're going to tell them what they already know, which is something that they need to be doing that they haven't been doing. And they're afraid to face that. That's usually what it comes to.
Yeah. I can dig that. Okay, so I would say let's get into it. I see there are lots of different questions for you. Let me know when you're ready to, because I'm just going to ask the questions. The first one is from Erin. That's my sister.
Hey.
She said she wants direction from her. Her name is Erin Johnson, and she's looking for direction on what steps should I take next in my career.
Okay, thank you for that, Erin, and thank you, Wendy. And so for future questions, all we need to know is their first name, unless there's someone in the forum with the same name. And I also just want to preface this by saying everybody's not going to get a message tonight, but what happens inevitably with these kind of open forums or these groups is that the message for one person resonates with a whole lot of people. So it's usually a message for multiple people. So Erin wants to know about her next step in career. Was that correct?
Yes.
All right, let me tune into Erin. Erin, just take a nice deep breath. Let me connect with you. Okay, so Erin, the first feeling that I get is you are an enormously talented, enormously creative, enormously innovative person who is trapped in a box like this. Now, whether that means you need to do a whole career change to actually something that you really truly enjoy, or whether you need to make changes in how you approach your work, what I'm seeing is that you're going to have an opportunity to be more creative. And creative doesn't always mean performing arts or visual arts, but creative can mean bringing fresh ideas and fresh solutions to old problems. So you can be an accountant and be creative. But so what I'm getting is that the next role that you're moving into gives you more opportunity to draw on your creativity. But the biggest thing that I'm getting for you, Erin, is you have to free your mind and allow yourself to be more creative, because that's where you're going to find more joy. You get comfortable in stability of the known, but that sometimes keeps you stuck in a very limited footprint. And I know that this is true for you and not for everybody, not just you, but everything that you want is outside your comfort zone. So as far as the career, there's an opportunity for growth and creativity coming like within the next year, but you have to make a decision. You're at a fork in the road. And if you stay to the left, you're going to get the same old. But if you take a chance and go to the right, and that also means looking at some positions or some fields that are outside what you think you're qualified for, and just something that you're interested in, you might actually connect with something that is really meaningful for you, but also brings some advancement. So you can have it both. In the back of your mind, you think, I can either be creative and have fun, or I can have stability. And you see those as competing factions. And what I'm hearing from your angels is that you can have both together, but you have to have it in your mind first. Thank you.
Okay, that sounds good. So I have a question that two separate people asked, but I think I can combine them. So
Okay.
Veronica is, are my grandmothers trying to convey anything to me? She said grandmothers plural. And
Okay.
then another woman named Raven says anything her grandma wants to share.
Okay, I think I know these people.
Oh, I went to college with Veronica.
Okay, so hey, Sorors. Um, let's see. I want to take them separately because they actually are separate. Even though it's about grandmothers, there's two separate energies.
Okay.
Veronica, I'm getting the message about your grandmothers. What I'm getting is that yes, they have messages for you, but also yes, you know what they are. They communicate with you directly, and they want you to stay the path, meaning that you've set your mind and heart on a goal or in a certain direction. Don't get distracted from that. I feel like they're giving you this message in a variety of ways, and having me repeat it just validates it. But don't stray from the big picture, the big goal that you're heading towards, the big direction. How you get there is less important. So if you need to take little detours to get to the big thing, but don't take your eye off the end goal, because you're getting there. I'm also seeing all of this fruit and fertility symbolism. So it's about also bringing forth, birthing and bringing forth something new. That's what I'm getting for Veronica. And for Raven, let me kind of tune in for Raven. Okay, so for Raven, I'm literally getting toasting to good news, and that's from your grandmother. Grandmother is celebrating your good news, and she says there's more to come. She says the biggest obstacle isn't the outside things that you think are the obstacle, and this is true for all of us. The biggest obstacle is your own fear that it's not going to happen, or it's not going to happen soon enough, or it's not going to happen the way that you want. Set your internal barometer on success, set your internal barometer on joy. And your grandmother's celebrating, and she said there's another celebration coming in November, whatever that is, another celebration, another announcement, another good news. But I'm seeing success, but something big happens around November. Thank
Okay.
you, Raven.
So I have a question from Renee, and she wants to know, how is it possible for our ancestors to be around all of their loved ones?
Because in after your body leaves, your soul leaves your body, it's no longer restricted by time, space, or physicality. And so we tend to think on earth of time as being very linear, that this happens and then this happens and then that happens. Think of like a string, linear. But now imagine that this string is folded and different points touch on each other in multiple places all at the same time. That's like, I don't know how it works, but God is everywhere. And I don't know how it works, but ancestors are everywhere. Because I know my family is a handful, so I know my grandparents busy.
Right.
Is
You know, this came to me like last week, and I shared it a few times on the different shows that I've had since then. But I feel like, and I have been told this, that our ancestors are the most underworked population, because we have been, many of us, depending on our spiritual system or our conditioning, that we are not supposed to connect with them.
I agree.
However, I believe that people are now starting to connect in ways because maybe they've seen the movie Coco and they get it, or something is, it's an awakening. This is the awakening. This is the time that people are awakening from different things. And I believe in my heart that the reason why we are having so much success and different things are happening that haven't happened before, like the breakthroughs, specifically with this persistent slavery, traumatic disorder that we're having, that we're experiencing. Like Jamila said, it's like that Verizon network. They was like, call me. And we finally calling them, and they like, let's get these monuments down. Let's get these new people on the board. I feel like we have enabled them to do the job that they were there, and that's to guide us and usher us and protect us and things like that.
Absolutely. There's a couple things I want to say about that. One is ancestors tell me that they're underutilized.
Yeah.
There are certain things that they don't need us to ask for or to request in order for them to do. But then there's, I don't know how exactly this works, because they don't always tell me the specifics. They say that there's certain things that they can do on their own without us asking, and then there's certain things that we have to ask and invoke them in order to do. So they say that they are underemployed. The other thing I wanted to say about that is 2018 and 2019, and even the end of 2017, so many people reporting deaths in their family.
Yeah.
Lots of deaths. I'm looking at 2020 now, and I'm thinking there are some souls that knew that they could help us better from the other side.
Okay.
So I wanted to say that. So as far as connecting with ancestors, a lot of people say, well, what do I do? And they're so worried about doing it wrong, or angering their ancestors, or dabbling in spiritual traditions that they don't want to dabble in.
Right.
As simple as this. Your grandmother loved you and you know her. You know what her love feels like. Or name any other loved one who is deceased. It might be a parent, a child, a close friend, a spouse, whomever. You know the love of that person, and you know what that feels like in your spirit. That's all that is required, is your desire to connect with that. Now, in an openness. Don't worry about getting it wrong. Just basically, talk to them. And if it's your first time talking to them, just say, it's me. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be all holier than thou. You don't have to wear anything special unless you want to. Hey, it's me. I'm new at this. I'm a little nervous. I hope I'm doing this okay. I just want to let you all know that I want to connect with you more. And because I'm a little bit nervous, don't do anything crazy, but just let me know that you're around in a way that will feel good and comfortable and even surprisingly joyful for me.
Yes.
Leave it at that. I'm just setting my intention now that I want to have it's a relationship. I just have a relationship with you all. And you can start with you all, the group, or you can start with you all, an individual who you already trust because you all had a relationship in life. Yeah. Start with what's familiar to you. Okay. A lot of y'all say, yeah, I want to hear from ancestors, and yeah, I want to hear from my loved one. But then at the same time, you're like, oh my God, a ghost. So, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
You just know that the way that they choose to communicate with you might not be like the way, it's not like in the movies.
Right.
It's not like that. It's going to be a lot more subtle and more specific to you and your relationship with them. Sometimes it starts as a game, like they start to show you a certain flower everywhere. And then you start to say, how many times can I see this flower? And then it's a game between you and them until you get more comfortable. Start with the little stuff. Don't ask them to fix your relationship. Just ask them to help you find a person.
Right. I have two great stories about that. The first one, my grandfather's birthday is March 1st. He passed away in 82. Like I said, I knew it, whatever. Recently, like last March, I was like, happy birthday. I have an altar. I put whoever's birthday it is, I put them on the top of the altar that day of their birthday. So I was like, granddaddy, can I get some money? Right. It was a game. So I go to the gym. It's a walking distance from my house. There's a Target attached to my gym. I walk out the gym. There's $5 in the middle of the street, yo. I'm
Don't
like,
you love it?
thank you, Granddaddy.
See?
The other thing is, there's another game that me and my daughter and my uncle are playing. He died in '98, Uncle George. Hey, Uncle George. So there is a gentleman whose essence, I live in a building of 700 people, 17 floors. His essence is my uncle. He's quiet, he's super tall, he's handsome, his hair is pure white. Let me tell you, I have started seeing this man everywhere I go, and I can get a little teary about it. I see him everywhere in this building. This building is huge, and I see this man. So me and Sydney, so then I told Sydney, my daughter, my 17-year-old, I'm like, this man is the essence of Uncle George, is synchronicity. There ain't no reason for us to be crossing paths every single time, right? Outside, at the mailbox, at the front desk, in the garage, what's good? Saturday at 6 o'clock in the morning, on the way to the hospital, we come down the elevator, 6 o'clock now, the building is quiet. The door opens on the 6th floor, and he's there, and we wanted to scream. We laughed so hard because we like, Uncle George, that's him. He's playing with us. So now it's a game. It's a game, and it's so hilarious. It's so hilarious. So that's how it can look.
Yes.
Don't think it has to be like ghosts where they gonna come.
It's not. And one thing I also want to share, I love those stories, is
Yeah.
whatever pain a person felt in life, whether it was pain in their body or pain in their spirit, pain in their emotions that made them make choices that were not healthy or loving for themselves or for others, and maybe even you.
Yeah.
When they transition, they are freed from whatever the source of that pain was. And what remains is the purest part of themselves, which is the love that they had for people, and their personality, the core of their personality. So if someone said things that hurt you or was very critical in raising you and they passed on, that part of them is gone. But the fact that they still love beer and the Philadelphia Eagles remains, right? And so sometimes they show up in a session in a big easy chair with a beer watching football, and that's how I know who it is. I may not know their name, but I'm like, there's this man, he got on a green Eagles shirt, or he's like, earlier today I had a client and her grandmother came through, and I said, and there's a man with her and he keeps telling the dog to hush, and she said, I think it's my grandfather. And then I said, and he's like grilling or barbecuing, and she just burst into tears. She's like, that's my grandfather. He would always be grilling and smoking meats all the time. So they may not share a name. Sometimes they share a name, but they'll always find a way to communicate to let you know that they're okay. And they're funny. Here's the other thing. Y'all's ancestors are turned up, all the way up. If they partied in life, they party afterlife. So they may not technically be drinking or smoking or eating physical foods, but they're the energy of the celebration and of the party and of the joy is still there. And so they crack me up. Y'all's ancestors are funny, and sometimes, like, a lot of times we think readings are like, oh, we're so serious and oh, let's meditate. Sometimes we are laughing so hard we are crying because your ancestor, they came in with a joke or a funny story as a way to identify themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Wanda wants to know, she wants to retire and she's apprehensive about it and concerned that she won't be able to sustain her lifestyle.
Okay, Wanda. Well, A, don't retire until you feel like you're comfortable retiring, or else you'll be stressed all the time. B, Wanda, I feel like when you retire, you're retiring from your job or your career, but you're not done yet. You're the kind of person that needs to stay active. I feel like you're going to take some time off and chill for a minute, and then you're going to be bored out your mind, and you're going to start something else or work part-time or volunteer. I feel like you're going to start something. Don't worry about all the details now, but make sure that you feel comfortable with your retirement before you do, but also know that that's not the end of you. That's just the end of that part of your life. And that might be the end of that career. But I feel like, Wanda, you have a whole other career coming, not career like, oh my God, I have to work and I'll go up the ladder, but you have this whole other purpose that will be served when you feel that you have more control over your time and you do things because you want to and not because you have to. So take your time with retiring if you don't feel ready. I'm personally not seeing any big obstacles to your retirement, but I feel like you don't feel in your mind comfortable, so you shouldn't retire if you don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
Don't overthink this.
Don't overthink it. So Cheryl wants to know, where's her boo at?
Hey, Cheryl. All right, so this is a message for Cheryl, but I think it's a lot of us that need to hear this.
Okay.
Cheryl, your boo is ready, but you're not. If he showed up today, you would not be ready because number one, you got a whole brick fortress built around your heart. You say you want a person, but you're not ready to be vulnerable with someone yet. That doesn't mean you won't be. You're not ready to actually let someone into your heart. You're not ready. You say you want someone to love you for you, but you're not ready to show up as you fully. So this is for a lot of us. The other piece is Cheryl is a giver in relationships. You're a giver. And what that has resulted in, which is one of the reasons why you have the fortress around your heart, is it resulted in you attracting takers. And so then what would happen is, like, every time you gave, someone would take advantage of that, of the giving of your heart. And then as a result, you felt hurt and started to protect your heart. What you need to learn before this person can show up in your life is how to be a good receiver. You're out of balance. You're a great giver, but part of the reason why you don't receive well is because there's some issues underneath about, do I deserve it? Because a couple of times a guy has showed up and tried to treat you well, and you call him boring and a whole bunch of other things. And what that means is you weren't used to someone who wasn't a taker, and you became attracted to takers, so that you didn't even notice the givers. You couldn't even see them blind. This isn't just Cheryl. This is a whole lot of us. A whole lot of us. So Cheryl, your ancestors are laughing because, all right, here's where stuff gets real, it gets funny. And I'm not trying to put your business out here, but this is what happens in a public forum. Your ancestors are laughing because they've already told me that they know who he is. They've already picked him out for you. They've already vetted him. He may or may not be single at the moment because you're not ready. So he will be at the time that you all meet. But here's the thing. You think that nice guys are boring. You think that nice guys maybe sometimes are weak. And this guy is nice. He's going to take really good care of your heart. And let me tell you, and this is why I was laughing, because your ancestors done told me, I hope you out here doing yoga, because you're going to have to stretch your back, girlfriend. Y'all think ancestors are all like, ooh, holier than thou? Ancestors know what it's like to have a body. But this man right here, I love his energy because he wants to take care of your heart. He doesn't want anything from you but to put a smile on your face each day and each night, but you're not ready for that yet. So you have work to do on how to receive. And one of the first things that you can do is practice receiving a compliment without throwing another compliment right back before you even have the other person has a chance to finish saying the compliment. Like someone says, oh girl, I love your shoe. You're like, I love your hair. Like you can't even receive the compliment and bask in it. That's a receiving issue. Okay, so practice receiving, practice asking for and accepting help. Somebody wants to carry your groceries up the steps. Someone wants to open a door for you. Don't always assume that they want something. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but you get in the habit of receiving, because by the time this man shows up, because there's going to be some other men that you meet before him who will help you practice the receiving. They're not the one, but they're good guys. And by the time you get to this guy, you're going to be ready for him, because honey, you better do that yoga.
He does yoga.
Yoga, because he's sure doing his.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Renee wants to know if she should continue living where she is or should she move?
Renee, if you don't feel like the place where you are serves your needs anymore, you should move. I'm getting a question though about timing. That really is the issue, because you something else is calling you. There's a different energy that's calling you. So the question really is about timing. This may not be the right time right this moment to move. Some other things have to line up. You're moving, I think, in the next 6 months though. Something is shifting. I feel like you're in a different environment in the next 6 months. But this is a part where you can call on your intuition about, first, create, manifest the energy of what you want. So don't be like, well, I just want this kind of house or apartment with, these features and this many rooms. That's all fine. You can make that list. You can have a vision board, you can do whatever. But even more importantly, get in touch with the energy of what it feels like to live someplace that truly supports who you are and is a container for your life. For example, when I wake up in the morning, I want to be so excited to be in this bed, in this home, in this life, in this neighborhood. I want to feel like this is the perfect size space for me and my lifestyle, and it's the perfect location for me. Now, notice I didn't say this size house, this square feet, and this many rooms, but I'm talking about the feeling. I want to feel like this is just the right distance from everything that I need to go to, whatever that means, whether you're in the middle of the city or way, 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 way out in the sticks. Just envision the energy of what it's like to wake up in the home that feels like it's the perfect home for you, and get in touch with that energy and bring some of that into your everyday life and see what manifests, because you're a really strong manifester. So good luck with that. It's a matter of timing, but yes, I think you're moving.
Natasha wants to know if she should stay or she should go.
Natasha's asking because she already knows the answer, but she is afraid of making the wrong decision yet again. And this is where you have to learn how to trust yourself, Natasha, because you already know the answer. You already know the answer, but you're afraid of starting over. You already know the answer, but you're afraid of what people will think. You already know the answer, but you think that maybe there won't be anything out there for you if you step out, and then you'll be stuck alone and worse off than with someone you don't really need to be with. So this is not a question about clarity, it's a question about courage, and you have it.
Ooh, okay, all right. And Nyasha wants to just know any general, anything in
That's
particular.
my favorite kind of question.
Okay.
All right, Nyasha, let's see. Okay, interesting. First thing that pops up has to do with an animal or a pet. I don't know if you have one now or if you're going to be getting one, but I'm seeing there's an animal or pet coming through. First. Secondly, there's an opportunity for financial gain that's going to be presented to you. Whether it's a job, whether it's a windfall, whether it's a side hustle, I'm not sure. There's an opportunity for financial gain. Trust your gut about whether this is right for you, but also look at it as a manifestation. And if it feels good, go for it. This idea that something feels too good to be true trips us up a lot, and we end up choosing things that feel hard. You don't have to earn joy. Joy is your birthright. And if something feels joyful, keep going.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nyasha.
Love it. Okay. Brianna recently lost her father very suddenly, and she wants to know if he's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, Rihanna. I know that must really be painful. All right, let me connect with Rihanna's dad. Let me see if I can connect. Especially sometimes when it's recent, they may not always be ready to talk, but sometimes they are.
Right.
I'm free is what I got. Like immediately, once I connected, it was like this big burst of energy and a hat. I don't know if your dad was wearing known for wearing a hat, but he's got on a hat with the brim, and his body is so light and spry. He's like jumping and dancing. You know how people jump and they click their heels? That kind of jump. You got to get pretty high up off the ground. That was the kind of energy that he has. And he keeps saying, I'm free. He's okay. He knows that you're not, but he's fine. Wow. He's okay. He knows that there's loved ones who are grieving, and that's absolutely understandable. But he is okay. He's going to find ways to connect with you. And I'm seeing ladybugs. So if you see ladybugs, especially in an odd place or at an odd time, or whether it's an actual ladybug or an image of a ladybug on a card or on a design of something, there's something about bug or ladybug that he's saying, and that's going to be one of his symbols for showing you that he's around. That's something that's easy, non-intrusive, and not going to freak you out is if you see a ladybug. But he's fine. He knows that you're not, and it's okay to grieve. But know that he's around you. Also know that, and this is true for anyone, if you are missing a loved one in your heart, know that they can hear you when you talk to them, even if you can't hear back or aren't well practiced in hearing back. They can hear you when you talk directly to them. They can hear you when you think to them, even if you're not speaking out loud, but you're thinking at them. They can hear you if you write to them in a journal, in a letter, and whatever. So just know that they are receiving the messages, but it takes a little practice on your part to learn how to receive back, because they may be communicating differently now.
Okay. So I want to ask a few more because I see the questions, but I want people to know how to reach you so that those who don't get a chance to get a reading, that they can come to you and get the discount and have, it's just them, personal.
Thank you. Thank you. So they can go to my website. Well, first they can follow me on Facebook, Inspired Jamila, or on Instagram, Inspired Jamila. My website is Inspired Jamila, INSPIRED JAMILA.com. If you click the orange schedule now button, that'll take you to a page where you can book your time with me. I have a special for Wendy's people. I'll give you 25% off if you book during the month of July or book any open space before the end of July. And the code for that is AWAKEN. It's all one word. And if you, while you're booking online, if you put that in, it will automatically take 25% off. My first openings are the first week of August, and I'm booked for the rest of July. But I do have openings, I think the 4th or the 7th of August at the moment. But you can book any open date using that code.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, Tamara wants to know, she just wants to know generally what's happening with her. What should she know?
Okay, growing pains. And the growing pains remind me of the story of the butterfly. So we look at these caterpillars who then create these cocoons, and at the time that they're in the cocoon, it isn't just that they grow wings, but their entire body melts down into goo, reconfigures itself, including legs and wings and all of the things that you see in a butterfly. I have no idea if caterpillars are aware of the transformation that they're going through at the time that they're going through it. I tend to think that in the middle of that, they're like, can I cuss on your show, Wendy?
Yes.
I tend to think that in the middle of that, they're like, fuck this. I don't know what's going on. I tend to think that they think they're dying because they're dark, they're stuck, everything hurts, and their whole body has melted. Have you ever felt like that? And you're feeling also completely vulnerable because if something were to come and attack the cocoon or hit it or it fell, they can't just up and walk away. So they're feeling like they're just out there, right? I kind of have those feelings with you a little bit in that you are being reconfigured in ways that may not be comfortable but are necessary, but not just necessary, are ultimately going to lead to you thriving. So this season has a lot of uncertainty. This season may have some disappointments, but you're growing wings in the middle of all of this. And you're probably feeling like, well, I ain't even asked for no wings, but wait till you get them. You're gonna be like, this is awesome.
Right.
So wow. What you're going through, just hang on a little bit longer because it gets better. And I also feel like the worst is actually behind you. So it doesn't mean it's all over with. There's still some residual debris and stuff to deal with and to manage, but also know that you are not your traumas. These are just situations that you have to manage, but you are not these things that are happening to you, but you're not the job or the relationship or the money either, but these are all things that you manage. So just keep going. Put one foot in front of the other, keep making steps. You're going to be okay. You're going to see light at the end of this tunnel.
I love that one. I love that one. Sabrina wants to know if her sister is okay. Her sister passed.
Okay. Thank you, Sabrina. I think your sister liked to party because she's here and I feel like she got music turned up and there's a beverage in her hand. And I feel like not only that, but I feel like she's celebrating something specific. So I don't know if somebody had a birthday, a wedding, an anniversary, a graduation, but I feel like your sister is acknowledging a special occasion that happened either within your family, just happened, or is just about to happen just now. There's some occasion that she's acknowledging. So yeah, she's fine. She's good. Talk to her. She says she talks to you, but you act like you don't hear her though. She's funny.
Okay.
She's okay. That one. I'm also getting a message that there's a John here, and I don't know who this is for. A John. It could also be short for Johnson or Johnston or something, but there's a John here. And his message is, I'm good. I feel like his passing was sudden. I don't know if it was recent or a long time ago, but it went fast. He said he didn't experience any pain. He said he at first he wasn't aware of what was happening, but then once he figured out what was happening, he was cool with it and he didn't feel any pain. But he says, I'm good, and I just want you to know I'm good. And he's also saying, was he killed? He's saying, don't look to solve the don't look to solve the mystery of how he died or who did it. He says he doesn't care, and that's not important. He wants you want to remember him for how he lived and not how he died.
Whoa. Okay, because I was about to say my grandfather's name is John, but he ain't get killed.
Yeah, something happened that went, and he went quick, and there were a lot of questions. Either there was an accident and there were questions about how it happened, or he was killed and there were questions about who did it. But he wants people to move on and not fester like, I can't have peace until I know how he died. He said, no, get peace and know that I'm okay, and I want to be remembered for how I lived. He doesn't want to be remembered for how he died.
Okay, so we have just 10 minutes left to honor Jamila's time. And so Rukia wants to know if there are any messages coming for her.
Say the name again.
Rukia.
Rukia, okay. Oh, Rukia, beautiful, beautiful spirit, lots of light. Rukia, are you supposed to be writing? And I don't know if they mean writing as in write stories, write fictions, write nonfiction, write instructions, write a curriculum, or if they mean writing like journaling, or both. But I feel like you're supposed to be writing or writing more, or being nudged to write. They're like someone is yelling, right, right, right. That's all I'm getting there, but they're yelling at me. Like they trying to haze me to make sure that I know to tell them to write.
Okay, Rukia, so I think you should figure that out. And Allison wants to, she's just open to, whatever you have to share. And Rukia says, oh my God, yes. So, okay.
Okay, good. Thank you, Rukia, for that confirmation. I'm sorry, the name of the last person you mentioned?
Oh, who did I say? Who did I say? Oh no. Oh, Allison. Allison is open to general information.
Okay, let's see what's going on with Allison. Allison, I feel like there's a change of environment coming. And I don't know if this is change of residence or change of job, but there's a change of environment. It's a positive change. And if it's related to, there's changes happening in how you work or where you work, not just what you're doing or whether you get a new position or not. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's also changes of the people around you. So if you have a job, a traditional type job, they may be reorganizing or reassigning teams or moving. I feel like people are being moved around almost like on a checker or chessboard. And some people are going to be leaving, but you're okay if you want the work. The work is there. But I do feel like there's some kind of change of environment going on. And it's going to be positive. So just roll with the changes. There may be changes happening around you. And there also may be a lot of speculation of people who are nervous about the changes, you know, that water cooler talk type stuff, rumors or whatever. I'm getting just ignore all of that. Don't even engage in the fear-based speculation. Keep your vibration high and you're going to be okay. Now, people around you might drop like flies, but you're good.
Okay. And Sirata, I hope I'm pronouncing her name, Sirata. Is there anything my mother would like to tell me?
Sirata, all right. First thing I heard was, I'm proud of you. Proud of you, proud of who you have become. Did your mother have big hair or wear big wigs? I feel like big glamorous hair. I'm not quite sure what that means, or she's referencing that maybe in respect to you. But I see big hair and I don't know who that belongs to. Your mother's also with a whole bunch of people. I think a whole bunch of other relatives. She said all her people are here. So she was greeted when she got there. She's good. She's also making me feel like leave the past in the past, especially around relationships, either dating and marriage, or even professional relationships. If you moved on, don't worry about whether you're burning any bridges. Don't look backwards. Just keep looking forwards. Some of the people that are not in your life right now, or not on the front row of your life, are because they relinquished their space. And don't chase them down and give it back to them. Nor if they start knocking on your door, wanting back in, you've moved on. Don't go back. She's very clear about that. Don't go back. I don't know what this is pertaining to, but she's just like, she's shaking her head like, don't go back. Don't even look back. Just keep going forward.
Wow.
I'm getting a message for someone. I'm seeing the Little Mermaid, And so that's making me think of names like Ariel or something like that. Um, is there an Ariel? I don't know, but I'm getting a message that I'm hearing Little Mermaid and the name Ariel. I don't think the message is about mermaids, but I think they're using that to get me to say the word Ariel.
Hmm.
Ariel, Arian, area, something like that. Um,
Looking through to see if there's somebody in here with that name, but
what I like about this message is there's a big blessing coming in the context of relationships. So I don't know if you're single and looking or you're in a relationship, but either you're single and someone's coming in, or you're in a relationship and that relationship goes into a deeper commitment, or maybe even a formal commitment if there isn't one already. There's a blessing coming. I'm also, I don't know how old you are, what your family status or goals are, Ariel, but I'm getting a message about being very, very fertile, which is great if you want to have children. If you are not ready for children or don't want more, that means that that is within your control, and to not leave that up to chance. And don't leave it up to your partner. You are fertile, and that fertility doesn't just pertain to pregnancy and babies and children, but you can use that energy to start something new, to launch something, to pursue a goal, to build something, to buy something. But you have that energy at your disposal. But if you don't give that energy a job, like help me find a job, or help me launch this business, or help me, make this painting, its default is to want to create a baby. Okay, and which is great if you want that, but just know that, be intentional about your fertility. That
hmm.
was for Ariel, area, Arian, something like that.
Okay. Indira wants to know about her move.
Indira and moving. Well, yes. Somebody just said, well, yes. I don't know who this is speaking for us. Yes, you can move if you want to move. The question is, do you want to move, and how do you want to move? You can manifest this. You can go where you want to go. Um, you're hesitating on a lot of things. You don't trust a lot. You don't trust yourself. Like if you can't see it in front of you, you don't trust it. But there's a lot of benefits, gifts, blessings that want to come to you. Um, be more open-minded about some of them. The blessing may not show up in the package that you're looking for it in. So
Okay.
that's on the move.
Okay. And Maya wants to know general. Maya.
Maya. Maya, Maya, Maya. Okay, Maya. Couple things. First, I'm seeing a really warm and tropical environment. So I don't know if you were planning a trip that got canceled or postponed, but I'm seeing you going to a tropical type environment, which could be South, like Florida, or could be Caribbean, South America, something like that. I'm not sure. But around that, it's this might be a literal thing that I'm seeing, or it might be symbolic, because the other piece that I'm getting with that is there's with this visual that I'm seeing, it's very lush, very tropical, very vibrant and colorful, and there's lots of water around it. I'm really being drawn to the imagery of the water, and it feels very full, it feels very abundant, and I feel like whether this is literally a physical trip or traveling that you're doing, or if this is symbolic, it's very it's big and it's abundant and it's fluid, and I feel like you are growing into some really strong gifts around not just intuition, because water and intuition are connected, but also with manifesting. Um, or it could be both. It could be the trip and the manifesting. But that I'm seeing a lot of visual stuff. I'm not getting a lot of words, but I'm seeing this visual of this very lush tropical area with lots and lots of water. And you looking very joyful and like rejoicing, but there's water everywhere.
Wow.
Water
I love
everywhere.
that for Maya. I love that. Latoya wants to know if there's anything concerning her career as a singer and a voiceover artist.
Yes. Latoya. Yes, I feel like this year might be slow or slower than you wanted it to be, but it's coming. Don't give up on this dream. And you might be behind the scenes a lot, especially I'm feeling like the voiceover stuff has a lot of energy, a lot of movement around it right now. You can make really good money. They're telling me taking these different projects and also being proactive. I'm feeling like this voiceover stuff, especially around corporate things. I don't know if these are like corporate videos or corporates. I don't know what this is, but I feel like business corporate, you might be assigned to do some of these projects that are very lucrative. They may not be glamorous, but I feel like they'll pay a lot of bills. Meanwhile, keep going, keep going, keep going. Sing everywhere you can. Use your voice. You have a very strong throat chakra, which isn't just about the singing and the voice over, but it's about speaking your truth and showing up in your truth, even if it's not verbal. And that's a really big opportunity. So this year might feel a little slow, or it may not be as abundant. But next year, I feel like there's a lot of openings and there's something new coming. I also feel like you have some angels and guides working on this to open these doors for you. Like they're working and they're showing me, they say, trust. They're showing me all of these dominoes that they have to get lined up just right in order for you to get your quote big break. And they say they're getting these dominoes lined up for you. Trust and have patience in the process, but keep going. Keep finding ways to use your voice, in ways that are they're joyful and that feel powerful to you, not just for yourself, but also speaking on behalf of others, speaking and advocating for others. Thank you for that.
So we're gonna do two more and then we're gonna wrap up. So Jamila, I have
And
put
thank
your
you for the
Cash
cash
App.
app. Somebody just sent me something.
Yep, I put your Cash App in. So on the show, I like to remind us that these are gifts that we are sharing that are, it's a reciprocation. You have been so generous with the hearts and the thumbs up and the love and saying how inspired you're feeling. So you can show that with money, because that's how we eat.
Okay.
We
I
eat,
always appreciate that. I always
always
do.
appreciate it. And
And
it's a
you can also
reciprocal.
show it by sharing this video right now on your timeline and
Please.
let somebody else get blessed by these messages, because a handful of people got messages, but the messages were for all of us.
Yeah. And Natasha said she already booked hers for 8/4. So
Hey,
yeah.
thank you. I
So you
appreciate
all should start booking. It's Jamila. It's Inspired
inspired
Jamila.
me.
So if you look under her name, it should be there, inspiredjamila.com, so that you can get your personal reading. I have so many people here. So when I watch I watch your lives a lot, Jamila, and then I always, when you offer these, and then I'm like, how do they pick the people? I feel so torn on who
A
I
lot
want.
of times I just look and see whatever name is on the screen at that moment.
Okay.
But yeah, don't stress yourself.
Okay. Too late. Okay. Crystal says she's going to be booking a reading, and some other people are saying that they're booking a reading. So thank you.
Thank
We are
you.
appreciated. So we'll do two more. And Rashid wants to know, are there any messages from his paternal ancestors?
Okay, Rashid wants to know about his dad's side.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Rashid, and thank you for that message, Wendy, and for the Cash App. All right, let's see, Rashid, what's going on for you? Okay, I'm not really sure what this means. I'm gonna tell you what I see and then see if we can work through what it means. I just saw like land and livestock. So I don't know if you come from people who had land or who farmed and worked the land, especially around livestock. Especially I'm seeing larger livestock like cows, cattle, mules, bigger animals. That's the first thing I saw. So I'm not quite sure what the reference is, but that's what I'm seeing. It might just be their way of acknowledging. Um, all right, let's see what they're saying, Rashid. I'm getting some stuff about relationship too. There's some spicy coming in, some spicy relationship. Either existing relationship gets spicy or you're attracting someone that is spicy.
Oh.
I'm also seeing an older, whiter haired man with a beard. It sometimes this is literal, sometimes symbolic, but he's an older gentleman. So this would be grandfather or further back in your ancestry. It could be great, 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 great grandfather. But this man's got whiter hair. He's a very smart, articulate man who may not have had access to education, but he was still known in his community as the equivalent of the professor, even if he may not have even went to college or even graduated high school. He was respected for his ability to think. And I feel like he's stepping forward because there are some things that you have accomplished or are accomplishing either in education, in your own education, or on behalf of others' education. And he's acknowledging that. He's saying education, educate. You either have taken advantage of opportunities that he was never offered, or you're creating opportunities for other people that he never would have had, he never got in his lifetime. And he says, oh my God, my heart just, he's proud. He's so proud of who you are and what you've become. And he says he's honored to be your grandfather, but he's saying great great. So I don't know how far back he goes. But like that message just hit me in my heart. Like he's honored um, that you have his blood and that you're doing right by your bloodline and by your people, your community. Like he keeps talking about what you're doing with education, education. I don't know what that means, but maybe you do. But I know what that felt like in my heart just now, and I can't even put that into words.
Wow, that's beautiful. So can you remind everyone again how to, because they're asking, people are saying they're booking and then people are saying, how do I book? So let's be clear.
Okay, go to my website, inspiredjamila.com, hit the schedule now button. And then if you're wondering what service choose, the simplest thing is to choose intuitive clarity consultation, because that covers everything. I also do some specialty consultations like love karma, going into your deep relationship patterns, past lives, and soulmate type stuff. And then pick the length of time, whether you want a video or phone. I'm not doing in person right now during the pandemic. And then pick whatever date and time is open and available.
Okay. So there's an orange button, click that and figure it out from there. Okay. So thank you so much. My phone died, so I can't even tell who else.
And mine is about to die.
So I'm just going to ask for myself. Do you have anything? And I was getting ready to get all, I was about to get all specific and ask about different things, but I just will be open. I'm learning to just be open.
Okay. And we may need to talk later, but the first thing I'm getting is initiation, that you are being initiated right now, whether you're formally pursuing something or you're going through a season of life that is an initiation into a new era, a new power, a new knowledge of self, that you've gone through voluntary and involuntary, formal and informal initiation through your whole life, but that's part of who you are. You came to this earth as a teacher, a healer, a priestess. It used to all be one thing, and now we have to, do all this hyphenation to explain it. But they're saying you're in the middle right now of another initiation, and you're also an initiator of others. So they're handing me a key. It's like you're opening the key to, you're unlocking some knowledge, some power, some energy. And they're just saying like, shine, 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 shine. You're supposed to be out front. Don't be behind the scenes right now. You're supposed to be out front. So I'm glad you're doing this show, but you're supposed to be out front. There may be other opportunities you're supposed to be visible. And that may also bring up some trauma around past life persecution for doing healing work and being visible. A lot of us have that who are in healing professions. But that's going to be part of the healing, is to go out and be visible anyway, because it's easier to be behind the scenes, but that's not what you're called to do. You're supposed to have a bigger audience, a bigger platform. You're supposed to reach a lot of people. And where's the book? Are you writing another book? Are you writing a book? They're saying,
I have a book. I have a book. It's at wendycarey.com/book.
There's another book.
There's another book.
You're writing another book.
Yeah, and that one's going to be on, I connected with my biological family, whether you did DNA testing or whether you found them through paper or opened up some records, and what's the next steps on how to navigate those kind of relationships. So that's the book.
Well, okay. Because you got a couple of books in you, but there's another one coming sooner.
Yes, and then I do want to say this one thing, Jamila, because that, like how that connects, that shine part. My theme song is Shine Already from Beyonce, from the Lion King. That Shine Already is Time Already.
Okay.
That's my theme song. So thank you.
They said the word shine. They said keep shine. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Jamila.
Oh,
This
thank
is
you.
such
This
a
was so
blessing for so
fun.
many people, so many people. And please, you all, if if you can get a booking, please do. But if you don't plan to do that, please just Cash App.
Cash App and share.
Bless.
Sometimes
Yes,
there's an energy. I agree with energy exchange, but sometimes it's money. We like money, but
yeah,
if not, it's free to share. You can hit that share button right now and bless somebody else by this conversation.
please do. Please do. Please share it. And we thank you so much. So again, this is the Sanctuary Radio Show, and we are gathering our tools to just be able to navigate the world that has changed. We are in COVID. It's about to be the second wave of closures. We are in persistent racism, and that all has effects on us. But if we learn these things, if we learn how to trust our intuition, if we learn that we have ancestors and guides and angels and not to be afraid of them, and we ask for them to come in love and light and to guide us, then we can navigate this much better. So please consider doing that. And thank you again, Jamila. And I will see you all around. Visit her website, inspiredjamila.com. You can follow her on Facebook. Instagram is inspired.jamila.
Instagram is inspired.jamila. Yes.
Inspired.jamila. Consider purchasing my book. It's From Jersey to Me, The Awakening and Healing of a Goddess, where I'm stepping into just what she said, how the evolution came. And it's wendycherry.com. So thank you again and have a good night, everybody. Peace.
Thank you.